mean anything to you?
No. I mean, is it some sort of maze or a road? I mean, is it sort of forking and branching like lightning?
You think it's a storm?
I know, the stormy tree was completely different. He used red. Now, this is all blue and has some weird dirt color. I mean, maybe it's roots. Because remember he was saying it was spreading and...
Killing. So they were killing. Vines. Destroying vines.
So as you saw in the video that we just showed, if you just looked at one picture that Will drew, you would not have any idea of what that meant. But whenever Will's mom and Hopper got together and put the pictures in order, you saw a correlation, and whatever Will was trying to convey was received by Hopper and his mom. So now let's talk about a little bit of our upside down. So we want to avoid using flashy images, so we don't want to exit with a star on each PowerPoint presentation because that would be distracting. Secondly, we don't want to choose irrelevant diagrams. Has anybody heard the phrase that a picture is worth 1,000 words? So that means an irrelevant picture is worth 1,000 negative words. So let's just make sure that we're choosing the right diagrams and graphics for our presentation. Thirdly, we want to avoid including too many pictures. So I know a lot of the times if there's a lot of empty space, we want to just fill it up so it can look pretty. But if you're including a bunch of images that really don't make sense, you're doing more harm for your presentation than you are good. So first, lastly, let's go into our last walkie tip section. We want to capture interest with other options, so other graphic options. So in this presentation, we used a video, we used pictures, and so that kind of gives you an idea of appealing to different types of learners. Secondly, we want to include a common theme, especially our presentation, we use Stranger Things, and you want to think about your audience and what interests they might have to really keep them engaged in your presentation. Thirdly, you want to consider others' opinions. So in this class, it's built in that in whatever assignment we do, we need to consider other people's opinions. And a lot of the times, what we'll find is if we give an assignment over to someone else, they're going to catch mistakes that we're not going to catch. So for example, I worked as an administrative assistant and I had to send out this big email with a bunch of information. I remember highlighting and bolding all this stuff. I sent it to my boss to get his approval, and he sent it right back to me and he said, "Stephanie, this looks like a rainbow puked on it. Like, just get to the point, make it look good." And so I took his advice, did all the corrections, sent it out. And I thought if I did not listen to what he said, I probably would have looked unprofessional and my inbox would have blown up because I would have had a billion emails asking what I was meaning to say. So now that you've heard how we can create cool graphics, you're going to get to apply it to your presentation. So go ahead and refer to step 6 in your workbook. You'll have a minute to complete this section and we'll walk around if you have any questions. So if we could refocus, can I get someone from the back to answer or share what they came up with?
So
may I have your name, please?
My name is Michael. So what graphics should you use? I think if you use like picture, but should be meaningful picture that relate to our topic. So we can apply it to what we are saying in the presentation.
Exactly. Thank you so much for
You're
sharing,
welcome.
Michael. And Aubrey's gonna help us recap our presentation.
So I know that all of y'all around this time are feeling like this cat right here. I know I am. He's my favorite character, although I can't decide if I love or hate him. So it just depends on the night when I'm watching the show. Anyways, we're going to do a quick recap, and each one of us are going to have a chance to let you know our topic again.
So, of course, in the beginning, you always want to make sure you're choosing the right costume for your group.
You want to integrate chill colors.
And select neat typography. Very exciting stuff, but I promise you can make it exciting if you choose to.
And how to pick red effects. And you want to use cool graphics.
All right, so we'd like to open it up to any questions that y'all might have. Don't hesitate, throw the hardest ones you have. We're not nuclear scientists, by the way, so please don't ask those. Yes.
What graphics do you think are the most effective in a presentation?
That's a great question. Can I get your name, please?
Dylan.
Dylan? So I would say it depends on your presentation. If you're trying to make a comparison, you might want to try to use some charts or diagrams, or if you're just, you can also use images or videos. So it just depends on the presentation.
This one might be a little difficult to answer, so don't worry too much about it. But I'm red-green colorblind, so colors have always been kind of difficult for me. Do you guys have any advice on that?
Blank faces, that's another
I
scientist
mean, I
question.
was just kind of spitballing.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it is
Can we
good,
get your
yeah.
name?
That's a good, great question.
George? So I think us as the presenters, we have to be mindful because there is a good amount of people in the population who are colorblind. So we should be able to create our presentations so that people who are colorblind can also see. So we as the presenters need to be mindful of the colors that we use.
It also might be helpful to know your audience. Get a chance beforehand to ask who's ever in charge of the audience that you're going to be presenting to if there's any disabilities that you need to address in your presentation. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
What type of font?
What's your name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Sorry, Ari. What type of font would you avoid?
Avoid?
Yes.
So as long as it stays within theme, I think it's okay, but bearing in mind the tips that I have with it, and making sure that people can read it and whatnot. But I think like one example would be Chiller. I don't know, anybody remember Chiller? I use that all the time in middle school. Who loved that font? Wouldn't be good on a presentation, so avoid that one.
My name is Josh. Would you ever recommend wearing costume themes in a business environment?
Well, so it obviously depends on your audience, if it's supposed to be a serious presentation or not. Now, of course, in class, we want to follow this theme. And we knew beforehand this was supposed to be a little bit entertaining, so that is why we're wearing what we're wearing now.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, well, we want to thank you for your time tonight.